Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip. Today we're talking about a whiskey from a distillery that is in the final bout of round 2 of the 2024 Virginia Whiskey Tournament. And that would be the Cask Strength Catoctin Creek Roundstone Rye. This is batch 22E03. It's 58% alcohol by volume. It's 116 proof. Let's get this in the glass, and then I'll do a little tiny bit of self-promotion. If you like my reviews, if you enjoy the Virginia Whiskey Tournament, or if you are a fan of the Single Malt Frontier, which is a collaborative effort between myself and the primary host, Doug, Single Malt Frontier, we talk about American Single Malt, which is sort of the cutting edge of American whiskey innovation. We just did a whole series of episodes on still waiting on the TTB. But anyway, if you want to support that, if you want to support this show, get more reviews, and help me support local craft distilling and buy more Virginia whiskey to review, I have an Etsy shop where I sell bowls, such as this beautiful American Cherry Bowl, as well as pens, some of which are made from bourbon barrels. And there will be pens made from barrel staves from different types of whiskey coming along soon. There's a link in the description down below. I sell them on Etsy. The entirety of the sale goes to supporting this channel and the Single Malt Frontier. I thank you for sitting through my ad. I know that these aren't popular, but it's how I support this channel. Now, back to Catoctin Creek. I have to admit, Catoctin Creek is probably my favorite distillery. Sorry, Caitlin. I know that, I have said in the past that Clear Creek is my favorite American single malt distillery, or one of, but Catoctin Creek was my introduction to both rye whiskey and craft distilling. And they make an amazing product, such as this. On the nose, you've got rich baking spice, stone fruit pits, a little bit of like the stone fruit itself, like a little bit of like peachy, apricot-y sort of scent, a little bit of citrus zing. That wonderful baking spice, a little bit of like vanilla and caramel and cinnamon from the barrel. Probably not a note that many of you are familiar with, but if you've ever done any woodworking and you've been planing or putting oak through a thickness sander or joining it or even cutting it on a table saw or something, there is a distinct smell of American white oak, and it is hard to explain. It is so uniquely that I just spent several weeks building an oak table with a friend and his brother, who is also my friend, and that note is there, and I can't explain it any farther than that. That nice, like, pumpernickel rye note. This is, of course, distilled from mash 100% rye. Beautiful stuff. It is a little bit assertive on the nose. It is 58% alcohol by volume, and it shows through a little bit. But you'll notice that I can get my nose all the way into this glass and take deep breaths, and I'm not, like, coughing or, like, experiencing difficulties from a really strong ethanol nose. nice, rich, buttered rye bread, cardamom. There's a slight funkiness that I tend to find in a lot of high rye content ryes that aren't the MGP 95.5. A lot of the 100% ryes and like 85% rye whiskeys have it. That's like, if you've ever had like real fresh pumpernickel bread, there's like a little bit of like spicy funk to it. And it's really dominant in Catoctin Creek, and I really like it. It's a little bit of like stone fruit, that like pumpernickel spice and bite, and the warmth. There's the like baking spice, and then the vanilla and cinnamon and caramel from the barrel, all wrapped up with like caraway seeds, and a little bit of like cloves and star anise, and it's beautiful. It's full, rich palate. It's amazing stuff. My first love is Catoctin Creek Rye. My go-to for a long time to like bring to parties and stuff. When I was like starting to focus on like more local whiskey was the Wasmans, which I took and brought home with me, but also the Distiller's Edition Catoctin Creek Roundstone Rye. Catoctin Creek Distiller's Edition Roundstone Rye. It's 92 proof, damn good stuff. But this is all those flavors turned up to 11, and it's just got this beautiful like murky depth that like there's a dark, rich core to it that, oh, so good. I love this stuff so much. Coming back to the nose, there is that beautiful pumpernickel rye, caraway seeds, those baking spices, that clove, cinnamon, star anise, cardamom, a little bit. Beautiful stuff. It's not terribly aggressive on the palate in terms of like alcohol dryness, and it's not flavor-wise a dry whiskey. It's got some sweetness to it, and it's got just a little tiny bit of oiliness that coats the palate, clings to the throat, giving you this like lingering, like toasty rye bread and baking spice that just goes on and on. I love this stuff. It is hands down one of my favorite whiskeys. And even with as expensive as it is, $89.99 from the distillery, worth every penny. It is glorious whiskey that I recommend to everybody. If you like rye whiskey, or if you are looking to explore some big, bold flavors, Catoctin Creek Roundstone Rye Whiskey, the cask strength, can't go wrong. I may take a look at the maple cask and the hickory syrup cask later, if they carry through to the next round. If you want to see that sooner rather than later, maybe you ought to vote for them, because the Virginia Whiskey Tournament is on, and we are in the final week of bout 2, which means that it's Catoctin Creek versus J.H. Bard's, Falls Church Distillers versus Brady's Distillery, and then those tiebreakers between where is it? Hilltop and Blue Shepherd. Blue Shepherd's running away with it, which means I really definitely do need to go visit them. And between Virginia Distillery Company and Ragged Branch. The voting for the tiebreakers ends at noon on Wednesday. The voting for the regular bouts ends on Friday at midnight. Get your votes in. Share this video. Share links. All of those links will be in the description down below. Vote on Twitter, on Instagram. Do your part to spread the good word of craft distilling, because right now craft distilling is in a bit of a bind. Things aren't going so great for a lot of folks, and it's plainly evident. McMara just declared bankruptcy. Pendrin is closing one of their facilities. It's looking grim overseas and really bad here in the States. So I know it's hard to do right now, but if you can, go visit your local distillery, show them some love, buy a bottle, buy some merch. Do what you can to support your local craft, because if you don't do it, it won't exist in the future. And everybody wants craft distilling to be the way of the future. With all of that said, it's been good talking to you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay happy, stay geeks, Snanja.